Dear students, welcome to this English session. In the last session, we discussed how Irfan Alam has launched his enterprise Samman and how he has been successful in helping the rickshaw pullers in India to live a life of self-respect and dignity. He has helped them to live a life of happiness. In this session, we are going to deal with the last part of the chapter, a three-wheeled revolution, a beautiful interview with Irfan Alam, a young successful entrepreneur in India. Listen to this reading. Does Samman get directly involved in microfinancing? No. We do not directly microfinance the rickshaw pullers. We just enable the rickshaw pullers to get finance from the banks. Instead of paying rent for decades, the rickshaw pullers only pay the bank loan as installments and eventually become the owners of the rickshaws. Aren't cycle rickshaws a dying breed? Rickshaws continue to be a popular mode of transportation in most parts of the country. The number of rickshaws in New Delhi has actually increased by 20% in the last 2 to 3 years. The reason for this increase is that it has become the choicest form of transport to carry passengers to and from the metro stations. Also, I personally think rickshaws are the vehicles of the future. They are environment friendly. We have an R&D wing that is working on a solar-powered fiberglass rickshaw. The interviewer Sujata Ram Prasad asks, does Samman microfinance the rickshaw pullers? Irfan Alam says, they do not microfinance the rickshaw pullers. Microfinance means giving small loans to poor entrepreneurs. He says, Samman does not microfinance the rickshaw pullers. Instead of that, they help the rickshaw pullers to get loans from banks. Now they get loans from banks and buy the rickshaws. They have to only pay the installments, and within 2 or 3 years, they will become the proud owners of their vehicles. Earlier, their condition was so pathetic. They had to pay rent day after day, month after month, and year after year. Still, they did not own their vehicle. Then she asked, aren't cycle rickshaws a dying breed? Can we consider it as a dying breed of transport? A dying mode of transport? Irfan Alam says it is not a dying breed of transport. It is one of the most popular modes of transport. In fact, the number of rickshaws in Delhi has increased by 20% in the last 2 to 3 years because this has become the choicest mode of transport, especially transporting people to and from various metro stations in Delhi. And he personally thinks that this is the vehicle of the future because it is environment friendly. It is eco-friendly. There is no pollution, especially in cities like Delhi, one of the most polluted cities in the world. This has become the choicest form of transport as it is environment friendly. There is no pollution. Apart from that, the research and development wing of Samman is now working on a solar-powered fiberglass rickshaw. Now I move on to the next few questions in the interview. Listen to this reading. What were your experiences at the Presidential Entrepreneurship Summit at the United States? I met some truly great people. I was indeed honored to talk to the Nobel Prize laureate Muhammad Yunus. He invited me to Bangladesh to help set up a similar organization for the rickshaw workers there. What is your advice to students on entrepreneurship? An entrepreneur is one who identifies an opportunity and puts in conscious efforts to make it an enterprise. People generally discourage youth from treading this path, but it is time to start thinking about entrepreneurship as a career, as it can be an important tool to tackle unemployment in the country. It is important to dream, but it is equally important to take calculated risks to achieve your dream. Thank you very much for sparing the time to talk to us. We wish you the very best for your unique journey. Thanks. It is with the blessings of my mentors and well-wishers that I carry my journey forward. Now, Irfan Alam shares his experiences at the Entrepreneurship Summit held in Washington. He says he had the opportunity to meet some truly great people. He met Muhammad Yunus, a very famous entrepreneur from Bangladesh, a banker and an activist. He was also an economist. He got Nobel Prize in 2006 for starting a bank called Grameen Bank in Bangladesh. He also pioneered the concepts of microcredit and microfinance. This bank gives loans to those entrepreneurs who are too poor to have access to traditional bank loans. He invited Irfan Alam to Bangladesh to set up an organization for the poor rickshaw pullers in Bangladesh. You all know Bangladesh is famous for these cycle rickshaws, especially the capital city Dhaka can be considered as the city of cycle rickshaws. So, Muhammad Yunus has invited Irfan Alam to Bangladesh to set up an enterprise for the poor rickshaw pullers in Bangladesh. In that summit, President Obama complimented Irfan Alam with these words: "You are doing a tougher job than me." Then the interviewer asks Irfan Alam to give some pieces of advice to the youngsters in our country. Irfan Alam says, entrepreneurship is the ability to identify opportunities. And the most important thing is that we have to put in conscious efforts. Here, conscious means deliberate. We have to put in deliberate efforts to make it an enterprise. Earlier I told you, we have to try our level best. We have to work hard to make things happen. This is very important. Planning, strategizing is important. At the same time, executing is more important. We have to try our level best to make things happen. Do not wait for a windfall. So he exhorts the youngsters to identify the opportunities and put in conscious efforts to make it an enterprise. He also says entrepreneurship can be considered as an important tool to tackle the problems of unemployment in our country. Tackle means to make a determined effort to deal with problems, to deal with difficult situations. So this can be considered as an effective tool to tackle the serious issue of unemployment in our country. Irfan Alam says it is very important for us to dream. At the same time, it is equally imperative for us to take calculated risks to achieve our dreams. Sujata Ramprasad thanks him for sparing his valuable time with her, and also she wishes him all the best for his future endeavors. Irfan Alam says he carries his journey forward only with the blessings of his well-wishers and mentors. There we come to the end of this interview. Now we will discuss some important points related to entrepreneurship or social entrepreneurship. I have already explained the meaning of the term entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the act of setting up a business or businesses by taking financial risks in the hope of profit. The modern definition of entrepreneurship is about transforming the world by solving big problems. This is about initiating a social change, coming up with an innovative product, and presenting a new life-changing solution. Irfan Alam has been successful in initiating a social change. So a real entrepreneur can be considered as a harbinger of change, or he can be considered as a social transformer, one who transforms the society, one who changes the society. Irfan Alam has been successful in transforming the society. He has been successful in transforming the lives of the poor rickshaw pullers in our country. He has been successful in helping these rickshaw pullers to live a life of inclusion life of self-respect and dignity, to lead a life of happiness. He has been successful in empowering the poorest sections in our society, those people who are on the margins of our society, those people who belong to the lowest stratum in the society. Once these rickshaw pullers were financially excluded, they didn't have any social security, no basic education, no health care, no dignity at all. They had been unable to feed their families, send their children to schools. They didn't give any importance to health care, etc. He has been successful in reaching out to the unreached. He has been successful in helping the distanced and the disadvantaged sections in the society. I have already told you, this man has revolutionized the idea of entrepreneurship. So far, people have thought about entrepreneurship as a means for amassing wealth. But for Irfan Alam, it is about social commitment. It is about empowering those people on the margins of the society. So we can say that he is a social transformer. He is a harbinger of change. An entrepreneur creates job opportunities and help people feed their families. They help alleviate that serious problem of poverty. Now think about some of the entrepreneurship skills. What are the skills of a good entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a good communicator. He takes initiative. He is willing to take risks. He has that ability called resilience. A good entrepreneur has resilience. He has to weather the ups and downs in any business, since a business does not go the same way as you plan. This ability helps you keep going even though the outcome looks unpromising, bleak. A good entrepreneur is patient because he knows that there will not be an overnight success for any business. He is a constant learner. He has to stay up to date on new systems, technology, and modern trends in industry as well as in markets. Self-reflection is another important trait of a good entrepreneur. He has to allow downtime to reflect on his past and to plan his future. Another important trait of a good entrepreneur is self-reliance. Initially, he needs the support of so many people, but afterwards, he should be resourceful to stand on his own feet. He should be self-reliant. These are some of the traits of some of the skills of a good entrepreneur. Even though it involves a lot of risks, it involves a lot of challenges, but it has its own advantages. You can lead your life on your own terms. You can work on your own terms. There will be no bosses, no restricting schedule. This is one of the most important benefits or advantages of entrepreneurship. This chapter is very important because it deals with entrepreneurship, and I have already told you, entrepreneurship helps us to address the serious issue of unemployment in our country. Now you have to prepare 2 assignments. The first one, prepare a write-up on how entrepreneurship can help us tackle the issue of unemployment in our country. The second assignment, an essay on the various entrepreneurship skills and why an entrepreneur is called a social transformer. Prepare these 2 assignments. Go through the chapter carefully. Internalize some of the points discussed in this session. That's all for the day. Thank you.